hello. So actually we're with Blacksheep Regenerative Resource Management. That's the full name. So this is a short introduction. This is Joshua Hughes, the CEO, and I'm Amanda Wilson, the CMO. And we are two of the three founders of Blacksheep. And we may look like regular people, but we're different from most of the people in this room probably because we're actually farmers. And that's why we don't have a presentation. Just kidding. Blacksheep is a regenerative agroforestry company that's largely focused in Costa Rica. So we grow rainforest crops like lumber and superfoods, like turmeric and cacao, and like that green powder stuff at the store. And then we process them into value-added products. So our agroforestry projects are largely on steep deforested land that was clear-cut in the last 100 years for tobacco farming and cattle ranching. So we use regenerative farming practices to reforest and protect these areas while also bolstering the economic stability and sovereignty in our neighborhood. So before we go on, I just want to talk about the difference between conventional agriculture and regenerative agriculture, which many of you might already know, but here we go. So where is farming today? Conventional agriculture is usually focused on the production of one or two crops, which leads to something called a monoculture. Think like endless expanses of corn and wheat, or in Costa Rica, banana and pineapple. So farming in this way requires the heavy use of agrochemicals like fertilizers and pest sprays. So not only does this typically not pay very well for the farmers themselves, the system degrades land and soil, toxifies fresh water, kills animals, and acidifies the oceans and poisons people. So in Central America, where we're based, the people that are employed to spray these ag chemicals, aka our neighbors, are not usually given adequate protective gear, so they end up with like astronomically disproportionate rates of glyphosate poisoning and organ failure. So in short, regenerative agriculture seeks to engage in farming practices that would leave the land and the people living on it in a better condition than they found it. So back to Blacksheep really quick. So because we're working in the tropics on land that was once rainforests, we've designed our systems to leave behind a rainforest. In our model, financial returns are a byproduct of reforestation instead of the other way around. So we understand that a truly regenerative system takes into account the livelihood of our workers and our neighbors. So we support the direct involvement and ownership of our project by our neighbors themselves through steady employment, joint ventures, and equity compensation. So just to reiterate, we actually provide opportunities for our low-income workers who would otherwise be working as a maid in a hotel or someone who would just cut grass and spray poison. We actually provide the opportunity for them to own a stake in the company as well, which is completely necessary if we want our project to succeed. So I'm going to refer to Joshua, who's going to tell you more.
Hey, so between Amanda just speaking and everybody I've heard for the last hour, you guys pretty much summed up everything we've been trying to do and the why we're all behind these things. But I moved to the jungle about 15 years ago to try and figure out what to do. And our first project is called Verde Energia, or Green Energy. I started as a collective with about 15 of my friends, has now swelled to 7 different companies, vertically integrated, farm to table, from the tropics to here in the United States, and from the farmer all the way to the investor to the marketer. We're tethering all the things together that it takes to bring agriculture into a new way of being. So we've been doing a real bottom-up approach to this. And hi. Hey, we've been doing a really bottom-up approach to this. We've been coming out of the jungle with this for a long time, sort of de-risking these ideas through experimenting and through collaboration. We've had about 5,000 people come to our first site and work together on this. So what Amanda was explaining and what I see as our future here in the regenerative world, I think is going to be best explained to us from the bottom up. So that's been my approach, is to see what I could do to help enable people, give people the space, help have the talents that me and many friends in this room have, which maybe aren't really directly tied to farming. Amanda mentioned for a second, regenerative agriculture. We talk about this a lot, but most of agriculture, most of the way you're getting food to you is not about the way it's grown. It's about the way it's transported, it's the way it's fed, the way it's fought for, the way that we fight against bugs, the way that we rebuild soil. So we're at a time now when a lot of our biggest problems could actually be our solutions, right? And actually profitable solutions. So what we've been doing is building forests, which built soil, which turned into what she calls byproducts. We've been calling them BUY products, because out of our surplus from building great forests, we're getting a huge economy built for our friends, family, investors, stakeholders, and vested employees. So everything we do is about vesting everyone involved, all the way to the client, from the customer down to the person growing this in the tropics, or the person shipping it up on their ships. So we're here to make sure that we can collaborate better. And the ask we have, the reason I'm standing here in the States, I thought I'd never be back in the United States. I left the US during the George Bush administration, and I was done with this. I've seen nature fix itself. I've seen the jungle come back. And while it may be the most terrifying to look on the news and see the burning of the Amazon, what Amanda mentioned a moment ago up here was that the Amazon was actually planted by people. We deforested it and we rebuilt it. So there's a ton of hope for me in places even like the Amazon. And these aren't just global warming issues. I feel the news talking a lot about things like the Amazon as global warming. This is arson by great big agriculture companies. So we're here to make sure we're on the front line down there in the jungles, learning what we need to do, learning how to adjust, learning how to listen. And I think we've come up with a comprehensive plan with thousands of our friends and family to move forward on this. And we're in the US asking people up here, from investment to people that are eating products from the jungle. Please, you only eat organic pineapples. 95% of your pineapples up here come from Costa Rica. We're about that big on the map. And we use 18 kilos of chemicals per meter, she mentioned, or per hectarea, which is actually more than any country in the world. And we're less than 1% of the land mass. So, and that's not for us. That's for foreigners to eat yummy tropical food. So it's on us in this room. Please with me say we're only going to buy organic food from the tropics. Please with me say we're only going to buy things from CSA type projects, which is what really motivated me, community supported agriculture. So we built all of our Black Sheep was built, our Black Sheep organization was built out of the needs of farmers and the needs of customers and the needs of the future generations. And I can't say it better than some of the presentations that have already gone on, but my daughter will experience, my grandkids will have whales because of us. We're going to stand together and make sure that shit exists. Sorry to cuss, but as we're in the forest working on our projects, everything we do up there affects the jungles. I mean, the jungles affect the ocean. The ocean affects the jungle. Everything's been getting weird with weather. My neighbors can't count on the rain anymore, you know? So we really need to work on this, not just for abstract things like carbon. Let's work on these things for a lot of real reasons, a lot of practical reasons. And I'm happy to be here with you guys. And my simple ask is that we all work together to help finance collective actions and bottom up. And the food industry may be one of the biggest levers we all have. So we're here to collaborate. Please reach out to Black Sheep. Blacksheep.org is the website. Our company is Black Sheep Regenerative Resource Management. And we're happy to collaborate. We're looking for talent. We're looking for people with money. We're looking for people food scientists. We're looking for a lot of people to collaborate. So please get in touch with us. Blacksheep.org. Joshua or Amanda at weareblacksheep.org. And thank you guys.
Thank you.